So when we talk about what you consume, we often think about food. And ever since I started doing taking business courses and stuff like that, one of the main formulas that we look into, it is the influence. What influence you have, right? Which create some thoughts, which create some emotions, and that is what it leads to action. So, and then if we put what you consume in this formula, those are your influences as well. And one of the things that we're finding is, and there's some studies done around this, is that what you consume, the first thing in the morning when you wake up, it really creates a program in your brain. For example, and this has nothing to do with food, it is you wake up, you have your phone next to you wake up, and the first thing that you do is just check your emails, check social media, check messages, and all that stuff. And honestly, that is a time that you really, really want to make sure that what you do, it is the stuff that is going to really create a positive influence in your mind, thoughts, then it's going to lead to emotions, and then you're going to take the proper actions because there's going to be more coherence in that formula, let's say. Also considering that you are the average of the five people that you hang out the most, or the books that you read, or the TV shows that you watch. So consumption, what you consume, is very, very, very important. And let's talk about emotions, okay? Because we all have triggers, we all have trauma, we all have a story in our mind or stored in our body that it also creates a reaction, or make us behave in a certain way. So the question will be, what are the things in your life that it triggers those aspects of your behavior? So what we know as well is that food have created a massive influence in our gut, and if your gut is not healthy and is not digesting and processing food properly, then it also creates a lot of illness, disease, it creates mental health issues and all that kind of stuff. We also know, because I'm not saying anything that possibly is new to you, because this wellness community, it is very aware that exercise, it is key in your journey. Meditation is key. So what are the things that you're consuming that are truly feeding your brain positively, and your heart as well, like meaning your brain and your heart and your thoughts and your emotions. So as we start combining all these different things in a very positive way, you will start seeing how your life is transforming. The other aspect of things is that we are living in a toxic world. It's just a fact. However, you still be able to manage or control what you choose to consume. And if for any reason it's an environment that you don't necessarily have full control of it, that's when it's important that you keep yourself in an elevated state, which is what we do in the healing circles. So you keep yourself in an elevated state. So when you're in an elevated state, nothing that it's low vibes and all that kind of stuff can get to you because you're up here. And that's one of the universal laws, cosmic laws, it's all that kind of stuff, right? So you keep yourself in a very elevated state, or high vibes and all that kind of stuff. So things, low vibe things, cannot access you because you're up here. So those are things to consider when it comes to what are the things that you're consuming. Mindfulness. As I said, I'm reading this book. It's called Ending Violence in Yourself, Your Family, Your Community, and the World. And this also reminded me of another thing, is that we think that violence, it is just about war, guns, physical attack. But the question is, how many violent things have you been doing to yourself through your thoughts, through your actions? And here's an example. So are you being violent with yourself by thinking that you're not worth of love? you're being violent to yourself, because absolutely everyone is worth of love. So what about being violent with yourself by choosing food that you know is not serving your health? For example, sugar, because then sugar, it's also creating an addiction. When you're not having sugar, you're also craving sugar, but at the same time, it is a violation of your divine nature, which is being in a balanced state. So one of the techniques that I'm going to share with you right now, it is, I learned that myself a long time ago. We tend to think that what we need to do to stop something, it is to eliminate that. And then, of course, if you eliminate something, you really need to make sure that you add something new to replace that. Otherwise, the cravings and these desires and all that stuff bubbles up. So instead of eliminating something, what I will suggest is, why don't you add something positive in your life that becomes a habit, it becomes part of your routine, and you will see that that bad habit will start fading away. And I practice that myself with food, and it works very well. So what I mean is, instead of trying to focus, I'm gonna give you an example. Instead of trying to focus on eliminating sugar, eliminating pasta, or or bread out of my diet, what I started doing is I started bringing healthy food in my life. So what it did is it started balancing my hormones. It started balancing my digestion. So it got to a point that it didn't have, and it happened in a period of 6 months, by the way, as I was adding all this good food in my life, because my body needed to calibrate all these nutrients first in my system. As I was moving forward, I didn't have the craving for coffee in the morning. And I don't have cravings. I drink coffee because I want to. And honestly, I don't feel the need to have coffee anymore. And then the same thing with other food, because at that point, craving was not taking control of my decision making. It was, I was more in a balanced state internally, which was actually influencing my thoughts. And my thoughts were, I want this or I don't want that, instead of, I'm craving this, I need to have that. So that is a whole different approach. So send me a message, put comments. I want to hear about what you have to say. I know a lot of the concepts that I'm sharing with you are not new. However, we always need a reminder. And we need to also upgrade. Keep upgrading every time to make your life better and better and better every time. So check it out. If you're interested to look into the course that I'm launching, please look at the link. I'm going to put the link in the comment as well, and just check it out. Take care.